This is JP with Political Pop Culture, and this is my take. I have got not one, not two, but three interesting stories for you today. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Story number one. My Pillow boss announces he is launching a social media platform to rival Twitter in 4 to 5 weeks. And I think this is an interesting story. So My Pillow creator and CEO Mike Lindell announced on Friday on the podcast of conservative activist Charlie Kirk that he was starting his own social media platform to rival Twitter, which had banned both him and had banned former President Donald Trump for spreading what the tech giant deemed baseless claims about election fraud. Every single influencer person on the planet can come here. You're going to have a platform to speak out, Lindell told Kirk. We're launching this big platform so all the voices of our country can come back and start telling it like it is again. You will not need YouTube. You won't need those other places. It will be where everything can be told because we're going to get our voices back. People will be able to talk and not walk on eggshells. I can tell you that actually sounds pretty cool. Lindell, who is facing a $1.3 billion lawsuit from voting machine company Dominion Voting Systems, said this is not a spontaneous decision. He claims to have been working on this project for 4 years and says it could launch in as little as 4 to 5 weeks or even as soon as 10 days. Lindell, however, did not offer any information regarding the name, design, or functionality of his new platform. Okay, so here's my take on this deal. I think it is a great idea for somebody to put up competition to social media companies like YouTube, like Twitter, like Facebook. Before the 2020 election, Republicans were very confident that Donald Trump was going to win, but there were rumors that if he didn't win, he was going to start his own cable news network to rival CNN, to rival Fox News. And my take back then was, I think that's a bad idea. Cable news is on the way out. I mean, not that it's any danger of going out of business anytime soon, but I think that you're going to see ratings continue to drop on those big news channels because more and more people are getting their news right here on the internet. And for good or bad, a lot of them are getting their news from social media, which is bad, by the way. If you're getting your news from social media, for the love of God, stop it. What I said back right before and then shortly after the election was I don't want to see Donald Trump starting a network news channel. What I'd love to see, though, is I'd love to see him start a real credible rival to YouTube. Look, I love Rumble. I'm on Rumble. I post my videos there, but Rumble is a little clumsy as far as platforms go. It's harder to find what you want. It doesn't show you stuff that you want nearly as efficiently as YouTube, and even YouTube's not that good at it. How awesome would it be if you had a real rival to YouTube where you didn't have to worry about conservative voices or any voices being silenced? That would be phenomenal. It would be great if they had an honest algorithm that actually showed people the kind of content they want without intentionally trying to silence content that the people who own or run the platform personally disagreed with. So do I think it's going to happen? We'll see. Like I said, like the article said, that he didn't add any kind of detail, no names, no nothing. So, is he on the up and up or is he a loon? I don't know. I'll let you decide for yourself. You can look up the things that he said. But anyway, if it's true, it's great. If it's not true, I hope somebody does it. I really do. I hope that somebody does it. Okay, so moving on, we've got story number 2. CNN issues tweet wrongly implying the CDC, quote, gives freedom to citizens. Oh my Lord. Okay. After the Center for Disease Control and Prevention recently issued new guidance for people who have received the COVID-19 vaccination, cable news giant CNN, which I still maintain stands for the Comrade News Network, had a peculiar way of promoting it. And this is from CNN Breaking News' Twitter feed. Quote, the CDC releases guidelines giving limited freedoms to people fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Let me read that one more time. The CDC releases guidelines giving limited freedoms to people fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Okay, okay. Except here's the problem, and we have it right here in the article. The CDC has no official enforcement power for any of their guidelines. As guidelines, the CDC standards are, by definition, not binding or enforceable. But enforceability aside, the CDC guidelines on their own terms give businesses, organizations, schools, and others almost complete discretion as to whether they should follow the substantive recommendations that CDC provides. CNN's tweet not only presumes the CDC has enforcement power to compel obedience with their guidelines, but also that private citizens derive their individual freedoms from the goodwill and benevolent generosity of this executive agency. Who wrote this article? That's brilliant. Peter Heck. Peter Heck at Discern. This is a great article. Seriously, dude. I love it. A number of lawmakers took the time to point that out to the network, including Thomas Massey, who said, "Imagine believing the CDC is the giver of freedoms." Everybody's favorite Ted Cruz, quote, "giving limited freedoms." Talk about absolutely Orwellian framing of CDC guidance from CNN. And it just goes on and on. Obviously, people are tearing the mickey out of CNN over this, as well they should. The CDC does not have the power to give or take freedom away from you. CNN, regardless of how much stock and faith they put in the federal government and the federal government agencies, thank God the CDC does not have the power to give or take freedom from anyone. So that's number two. Story number three. This one is a good one too. The Biden administration considers raising corporate tax rate to offset stimulus. Okay, if you were going to have to raise taxes to give this $1.9 trillion monstrosity funding, you shouldn't have done it. But let's read the story. The Biden administration has said it's considering a gradual tax increase to help offset spending initiatives such as the stimulus bill. President Biden, I hate saying that so much, President Biden, during his campaign, had promised to raise the federal corporate tax from 21 to 28%. Okay, this is clearly a man and an administration who don't understand how corporate taxes work. It's like they think that corporations are just some magical piggy bank that you can increase the taxes and get more revenue out of. Here's the thing, and if you've never run a business, if you've never been involved with running a business, if you've never owned a business, you may not understand this. So I'm going to give you a 30-second education on how corporate taxes work. Corporations don't pay taxes. I'm going to say that one more time for the cheap seats. Corporations don't pay taxes. All right, they collect the taxes and they write the check to the government, but they don't actually pay them. Who pays those taxes are the companies or the people who are the end users of their product or service. So if you have a company that makes widgets and you raise the corporate income tax from 21 to 28%, their tax cost, their tax liability jumps. What are they going to do? They're going to raise the prices of the widget. So if you are the consumer of that widget, you're going to pay more for the product. You're going to pay more for the product because that corporation still has to meet its bottom line. It still has to make sure that its shareholders get their earnings. That's the whole point of being in business. Businesses aren't doing this for altruistic reasons, ladies and gentlemen. They're in business to make a profit. And in order to make a profit, they have to make a bottom line. To make that bottom line, that means if taxes go up, your prices are going up. That's why everybody should absolutely support a 0% corporate tax. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. Republicans have pushed back on the tax hikes. Representative Kevin Brady, Republican from Texas, said that Democrats will push for increases immediately after signing the $1.9 trillion relief package. Brady played a large role in the design of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which was awesome. Lowered the tax rate. Every single working family in this country saw an increase in their take-home pay. That was awesome. Tax increases are coming. There's no question about it. Brady told Fox Business on March 9. They intend to pair it with an infrastructure bill, although right now they're spending almost $2 trillion with almost no impact on the economy. In other words, they're spending all this money. They have no idea how they're going to pay for it. They're going to borrow all of this money, probably from China, which means that my grandchildren and your grandchildren and probably your grandchildren's grandchildren are still going to be paying this off because it is just this ridiculous bloated spending bill. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the tax rate, so I apologize. Anyway, the Biden administration is considering raising corporate tax. Well, we knew that he was going to want to raise corporate tax before he got air quote elected. And now he looks like he's going to be making good on that threat. Let's hope it doesn't pass. Let's hope it doesn't pass the Senate. Let's hope it gets bogged down somewhere somehow. But with the Democrats in control of both the House and the Senate, and having the legislative and having the executive branch, it is highly unlikely that Republicans will be able to stop any potential tax hikes from coming through. So pay attention, folks. Pay attention. I hope you all are ready for 2022 because it is all going to come down to what happens in 2022. If Republicans don't take back the House and the Senate, we are going to see tax after tax after tax, and this $1.9 trillion absolutely pork-laden spending bill. That's just going to be the beginning. This is just the beginning, folks. Anyway, that is my take for the day. I would love to hear your take. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm on the right track, let me know. If you think I'm out of my mind, let me know that too. Also, if you like the channel, if you like the videos, please do me a favor. Give us a like, give us a rumble. That little bit of activity from you really makes a big, big, big difference. It helps to show the algorithms that people are paying attention. They do like the content, helps us to get shown by more people, which of course just helps everybody in the long run. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. And I look forward to hearing your comments. And that's it. I'll talk to you soon.